fan of the scheduling style the NBA has, where you just put 2 games on an island and then have 40 games the next night. I really don't get it. But the Thunder lose to the Warriors. That was the Warriors had another 50 piece from Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, but the Warriors had a magnet ball, the likes of which you can only say, all right, we're not supposed to win this fucking game. A one-legged fade from Kyle Anderson, Brandon Podziemski's shot, one of the dumbest shots I've seen in quite some time. A step back, 18-foot long 2 early in the shot clock that he made, where if he misses that, you're like, what just went through your brain right there, young man? What went through your brain, young man? But I really don't think this game is all that tells us that much about the Thunder, to be honest with you. I think the Warriors are just making some crazy shots down the stretch of this game. And Andrew Wiggins has been really solid lately, so kudos to him. Shai with another 50 piece. He was great last night. I guess if anything, it doesn't tell me anything I didn't already know, but maybe if you were looking, maybe if you thought that they were like a flawless team, obviously the need for a second score is pretty apparent. Their lack of shooting at times can become pretty apparent. We'll see if I have them making any trades here in the near future. Oh, yeah, that's right. Nets blow out the Hornets. The Pacers beat the Pistons. Isaiah Stewart gets ejected for getting into it with Thomas Bryant. We'll see if there's any repercussions for that. Pascal Siakam continues his torrid play lately. Raptors blow out the Wizards. The Wizards have 6 wins. What a pathetic joke they are. The Celtics blow out the Bulls. The Cavs blow out the Heat. The Knicks beat the Nuggets. This was a fun and entertaining game. I had it, off to the side. I wasn't paying full attention to it, admittedly. But it was a fun game whenever I was peeking in. The Knicks are playing really great basketball, man. I love them. I do. I love this Knicks team quite a bit. I really, really enjoy watching them play. 76ers beat the Kings. All of the shit going on with Sacramento. With De'Aaron Fox, we'll talk about that later. Clippers beat the Spurs. Victor Wembanyama and Zubats got into it. Timberwolves beat the Suns with Anthony Edwards talking shit the entire game. Classic Anthony Edwards. But of course, we're going to talk about the game of the night. The game of the millennium. The Mavericks beating the New Orleans Pelicans, 137-136. Close game, sure. This game felt pretty decided. Mavs, pooped and peed their pants a little bit down the stretch here. CJ McCollum hit a 3 with 0.1 seconds left. So this wasn't necessarily as close as the score might indicate. It wasn't like a one-possession game or anything like that over the last minute and a half, really. But nonetheless, a nice win for the Mavs. The first time they've won back-to-back games since January 9th. Just, really needed a stretch like this. 3 wins in their last 4 games, including wins against the Thunder and OKC. No Chet, no Hartenstein. Still taking care of business. Obviously, injury excuse, not going to fly against this Mavs team, if we're being honest. And a Pelicans team that record-wise is pretty bad, but has been playing pretty solid basketball over the last month or so. As they've started to get some guys back. Zion looks really good. Trey Murphy's been playing out of his mind lately. So they're better than the record indicates. They're a tough team. And the Mavs go and beat them on the road. That's impressive. The first time they won back-to-back games since Lakers and Blazers. Starting to, maybe turn this thing around a little bit. 4-3 in their last 7 games. Not a crazy record or anything like that, but you'll definitely take it, especially considering where they were, just a little bit before that. I said I kind of felt like things were shifting a little bit for the Mavs. And, there's some hope that Luka could return in the next 10 or so days. The Mavs play the next 4 games on the road. I'm not sure if Luka's on this road trip or not. I don't know. Was he there last night? I have no idea. They play Detroit on Friday, Cleveland Sunday, Philly on Tuesday, and then Celtics a week from today. And then the Mavs head home for a 4-game road homestand. Oh, Luka's in the chat. He says he's not. I'm not on the trip. Okay, Luka. Rest up, man. You playing any Marvel Rivals? A little 4-game homestand before the All-Star break. That's probably when you're going to see Luka make his return. You're Star-Lord, Maine? Oh, okay. All right. That's interesting. Stein said Exum may play, but Luka won't on this road trip. I didn't expect Luka to make his return on this road trip. Exum being back is pretty interesting. So, yeah, this looks like this could be, hopefully, right, one of the last little stretches here without Luka Doncic for hopefully the rest of the season. And then the Mavs can lock back in, trade deadline. We'll see what they do. But an impressive win last night. Daniel Gafford, a perfect 9-9 from the field, 22 points, 12 rebounds, 5 offensive rebounds. I mean, he's been playing some incredible basketball. 4 blocks as well. Altered a ton of shots at the rim. Probably could get credited for a couple more, the way that he altered shots around the rim. Just a great performance from him. He continues to play great basketball. Really stepped up when the Mavericks needed it. And knowing how this team operates, it'd be interesting to see when Lively comes back, if Lively comes back this season, what they decide to do. He looks so gassed. Yeah, and that's the problem. 34 minutes for Gafford. I'm worried about that for him. I am. He just plays such a physical brand of basketball. You know, he works his ass off. He does. That's one thing about Gafford. He works his ass off all the time. That's taxing. That is, for 34 minutes. It's minutes that he's never played with any consistency in his career. So we'll see. You know, hopefully Dwight Powell comes back soon. That'll give him a rest. Definitely. We'll see if the Mavs are motivated to make a move in the front for a front court guy between now and next week. Could definitely be a possibility. I do worry about his minutes here. It's just a lot to ask out of a guy like that, especially a guy who just, again, hasn't really been asked to play those type of minutes throughout his career. PJ was great last night. I mean, he had a very interesting game, 5 turnovers, 4 of them in the first half. Very weird game. Was not shooting well at all in the first half of the game, and then really turned around, popped the fuck off in the fourth quarter. But 25 points for him, 14 rebounds. I'm telling you, for PJ, they're experimenting, and I don't know if they're doing it out of necessity, right? Because with all of your front court injuries, PJ has to play small ball 5 for you. They're not relying on Kyler Kelly. They're just not. PJ has to play small ball 5, but it's an interesting little experiment now that you're kind of forced into to see how can PJ handle being the small ball 5? Is it something we can rely on? And if possible, if the answer to that question is yes, can we find people either internally or externally who we can plug in to those lineups to help maximize PJ at the 5 minutes? I'm telling you, that's what they're looking at. That's what they're going for. And I think he's responded really well. I think his rebounding is good enough to make it interesting, right? PJ was like 4-12 in the first half or something. Yeah, the first half was really weird for PJ. He was playing fine, was missing shots, turning the ball over, but everything else was good. A career high 8 assists for PJ as well. I was rooting for the Pels. What the hell is wrong with you? Kyrie with 25 points. Thought he played a good game in this one as well. 9 rebounds, 5 offensive rebounds. Quentin Grimes off the bench had 17. His second half scoring lately has been unreal. Najee made his return, 15 minutes. Great to see him back in the rotation. And, again, it just kind of feels like you got 15 minutes from Kessler Edwards again, who I thought gave you some pretty solid minutes. 15 minutes from Omax. I'm becoming quite interested in the Kessler Edwards stuff. He just screams a Jason Kidd guy, does he not? Does he not just scream Jason Kidd loves this fucking guy? And he like, why is Kessler Edwards playing and not this guy? Can we mention that? Like, can anyone else see that and picture that? But another really great 3-point shooting game for the Mavs. 2 games in a row where they've hit 20 or more threes as a team. That's fantastic. Clay was 6 threes on 11 attempts. That's what you love to see right there, man. You just got to get him going. You got to, right? You have to make that a point of emphasis. He's not going to shoot step-back threes. He's not going to create threes for himself. You just have to make it a point of emphasis at times. Hey, let's get Clay going. Next minute and a half, 2 minutes, let's get Clay 2 or 3 shots. See if he can get going a little bit. Let's see if he can get going. And then on the Pelicans side of things, huge scoring output from their starting 5 outside of Yves Missy. Zion had 29, 11 of 18, 28 minutes. He looked unstoppable in this game. He looks fantastic. He does. Physically, he looks fantastic. Just hope he stays healthy. If he wasn't on a minute restriction in this game, who knows? Who knows what this game looks like? CJ McCollum, 23 points. Could that be one of his last games as a member of the New Orleans Pelicans? Something to think about. DeJounte Murray, 27 points. Trey Murphy has been playing out of his mind lately. He's been fantastic. He's been fantastic. Chips with ranch. Love you, Dirk. Hell yeah. Shout out to Chips with ranch. Honestly, was happy to see Zion playing that well, even against us. Yeah, I mean, Zion's such an exciting player that it's good for the league when he's out there and playing. No way this man cooked up a CJ trade. Oh, I chefed one up, baby. I chefed one up, and I fucking love it. It's my favorite trade I did. Anyways, an impressive win for the Mavs, who are hopefully, it appears, turning this ship around.